intact. Exactly as you requested. No words changed, kept entirely intact. It's exactly 4 a.m. right now. I just woke up, and for the next 24 hours straight, I'm going to show you everything I do in my daily routine to get ready for my first 100-kilometer ultramarathon at 15 years old. But there's absolutely no time to waste, so let's get right into it. After getting ready by 4:20, I was already out for a 10-kilometer run to get the first win of the day done, and it felt amazing. But by the end of the run, I actually realized I have not seen a single piece of movement, not heard a single voice, not seen a single little twiddle in a bush. Absolutely no one is awake. Everyone is still in their bed, sleeping like a little baby, wishing that today will get better, praying for a miracle, that today will be the best day of their life, that they'll finally get the results they want. The thing is, the people who wait for miracles, they're never going to get the results they want. You have to take your life into your own hands. You have to be willing to wake up at 4 a.m. with your shoes next to your bed. And the second you wake up, you get up instantly and you get out for a run. You don't care about anything else. You don't care about how tired your eyes are, how unwilling they are to be open, but you just get out for a run. By 5:10, after I returned from my run, I jumped right into a cold shower, which was absolutely freezing, but I didn't want to fall behind. So, just as fast as I jumped in, I jumped out to get straight to work, where I spent over 3 hours straight just working on thumbnails and trying to answer all the comments and DMs from people needing help. And then I just finished any extra task I had before I got right to breakfast. All right, so for breakfast today, we have a high protein yogurt. We have, of course, our homemade protein shake, and then we have a bowl of cereal. But this isn't just any kind of bowl of cereal. I found an absolutely dime of a brand, which is 99.5% corn, and the rest is vitamins. So this is probably the healthiest cereal you could get. And the reason I choose this over like eggs, bacon, or something like that is because I absolutely love cereal. It is one of my favorite foods. And before we enjoy this beautiful meal, let me tell you why it took me 4 hours to have breakfast. Well, here's the thing. Your body has many different kinds of drives. It has the drive to reproduce, it has the drive for brotherhood, and it has the drive to eat. So the second you wake up and you're really, really hungry, your body is pumped and it's ready to work to get that food so that the second you have that breakfast, that drive is gone. You no longer want to work. You have to put in more effort. So you want to make sure that you delay that by as much as possible. It will make it so you can take control of your hunger because I promise that is probably the reason why you're so unmotivated in the morning. But now it's finally time to have breakfast. After doing the groceries, making lunch, and going to the park to read, I sat down at my desk to get back to work again, literally editing this video before at around 3:30 where I went back outside. This time to go to the gym so I can do a quick 5-kilometer run, followed by my current daily workout, which you'll learn a lot more about in the next video. But just by looking at it, can you guess what the challenge is? And if you figure it out, comment down below and I'll tell you if you're right or not. And then finally, I quickly ended it off by diving into the pool. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it obviously didn't take me 5 minutes to dive, but on a serious note, what is my diving form like? Actually, look at this. I look like a little kid that's scared to get into the water. But after overly critiquing my diving form, I swam a couple of laps. Since for the last couple of weeks I've been trying to improve my swimming form since I've always been known as one of the worst swimmers and as goes, and I absolutely hate that. So I'm trying to improve my swimming and especially my form. So if you have any tips for me, please let me know because I really need it. Then I finally ended it off with a quick 10-minute sauna, which I was really excited for since the pool was literally freezing. And finally, when I got back home, I ticked off the last task of the day, being a 15-minute meditation before having some leftover ramen for dinner, which was absolutely stuffed with eggs and surprisingly good meatballs, which, yes, I ate meatballs with ramen. Don't judge me, I know, okay? And then for the final part of this video, I wanted to share with you exactly how to make the perfect daily routine. I'm going to give you all the tips that I know so you can customize your routine so it is literally made exactly for you and you know what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right. And what is most important, the first thing I need you to understand is this. This is what you're doing. This is what you're not doing. This, what you're doing here currently is you're setting up a daily routine, which is too difficult. You are making up a daily routine, which is not optimized. So what happens is here, you go up. This is when you do the daily routine, but because you're stuffing it with like 5 hours of exercising, maybe 10 hours of working, and then like a sprinkle of 15 different ice showers, 10 different hours of reading, uh, you're stuffing it with too much. And although this daily routine, I absolutely love it, the truth is I do not do it every single day of the week. Because if I did, I would probably have died already from exhaustion. You have to make up a daily routine which is optimized for every single day, not just for every other day. So what you're doing here is you're setting your goals too high. So what happens is you have that perfect schedule, all the different timings and all that. And what I noticed, because I literally had it happen to me, is when you have that schedule, you maybe follow it for 1, 2 days. But because you made it so difficult, when that alarm goes off, you literally stop. You don't listen to it anymore. And then you fall back into your old habits. That's because you're making the routine too hard. And any kind of interference, any kind of friction is going to stop you from doing the routine. So instead of making it so difficult, and then the second you have that slight little bit of friction, you quit. Then you try even a harder one saying, yeah, I'm motivated now. Motivation dies. You quit. And then eventually it gets to the point where you literally quit altogether and you stay down. But now, here instead, we're optimizing for doing less. You literally want to do less in your day. I'm telling you right now to do less work, but be consistent with it. Do work that you can do every single day without stopping. If you're looking at doing like, I don't know, some crazy every single time block scheduled for the day, that's not going to work out because you're going to need some fluid in your routine. You're going to need some buffer time. So only set up exactly what task you want to do, maybe, and keep it simple. Read, meditate, exercise, work. That's what we'll do. All right. And then what you're going to do is put down exactly when you want to start that task. Let's say, for example, 4 a.m. exercise, location, living room. That's it. Don't put in like 4 a.m. till 4:45, then 4:50 to 5, do meditate, whatever. Then just put down maybe at 9 a.m. meditate, and that I'll do in my chair. All right. The reason why we're putting a time and a location is because that means that whenever you have that time and whenever you're in that location, you set it with a certain task. What I mean by this is when you enter the kitchen, you're automatically hungry. You're already looking for something to eat. And if you had a proper bedroom, the second you got into bed, you would fall asleep. But because you're doing all these things everywhere, every single time you swap the location you meditate at, you swap the location you read, your schedule is all messed up. Your body can't habitualize a location with an act. So set a location for all of the acts, for all of the things you want to do, and then a set time. So at that time, just put down a time to start, not a time to end, not anything extra, literally just a time to start. Then maybe we'll do 4 p.m. That's when we're going to do work, whatever. And then you might have like a second block at 6 p.m. where you also do work. But just make it as simple as possible. Just make it as simple as possible. Here, let me just put down desk and then desk. And you want to have a desk set purely for work. You don't want to have a desk which you use for like YouTube entertainment and watching movies. And then you also use that desk for work. You want to make sure that whatever location you're using is purely for that, nothing else. That is what's going to get you an optimized schedule. That is what's going to get you this consistency. Doing less, but doing it every single day matters more than doing it once a week. Do less and have it have more meaning. And then set a location and a time for each act. For meeting, I always sit in the exact same area, like on that monkey bar. Meditating, I always do in a certain little chair. Running, I always have it on the same path. Working, I always have the same desk where I literally have a different desk for editing and then a different desk for more casual, like replying to DMs, all of that. Like you started the day and then like 3 p.m. when I was editing the video. I hope that that short lesson helped, but literally for the rest of the day, all I really did was journal and reflect on what I did. And now, after putting my body through hell from morning till night, was it worth it? The only way we can find out is after I run the 100 kilometers. Let me know